Katie, and welcome to the Semi-Social Podcast, where three anxious ladies pick apart the world one piece at a time. I am joined by Mars, who may or may not be a spy.
Hello.
And Hannah, who is part bird, but we won't tell you which part.
What up?
We like to start out with quick bites. Any bites anybody has for the last week or so. Interesting stuff. And I know I have one, but do you guys have any?
Not really. Let's hear yours.
Yeah, I have one, but you go first.
Okay. So I'm really excited about this. I got a text the other day. I think it was yesterday. And it was from my sister who had listened to the podcast. And she really liked it. Thank you. Shout out, Kelly.
Thank you so much for listening.
Yes, thank you.
Everybody.
Yeah. And so my sister listened to the podcast and she, the elevator topic came on and she texted me like, did I ever tell you the elevator story from when they recently flew to Europe? And she sent me a voice recording in a text of the story, and I think it's really great. And she said I could play it for everyone. So I'm hoping that you can all enjoy it together. So without further ado, here we go.
So all four of us, had our bags. We piled into the elevator at DFW, and two guys fit on with us with their bags, but a nice older couple didn't quite make it. So they're like, oh, we'll get the next one. So we ride up there, completely silent, as you do. And when the doors open, the two men who are standing in front of us are sort of like looking back at us and looking at each other, trying to decide who's going to go first, and I'm like thinking, are they trying to allow us to go first in front of them? Like trying to be super polite? And so we're all frozen, and then the doors start to close, and they both go for it and miss it. And so the doors close, and the elevator starts to go back down, and the doors open, and the couple that have been waiting there sees that we are still on the fucking elevator. And we're like, we had a little miscommunication, and this elevator will be right back, and we will not be on it. That's what I said to them. And then the doors close. Well, but by the way, the old couple, the looks on their faces were totally confused, incredulous, like, how could you make this happen? But also, this is hilarious, and I bet you feel really stupid. But anyway, so we're going up there, and I'm giving a pep talk. I'm like, okay, you guys, I know that was a polite off, but when we get up there, you first, then you. Oh, man.
So, yeah. She had to, actually pep talk strangers to be like, here's how we get off the elevator, you guys. That
story's so good. I'm glad that she, was able to put a hat on to be like, someone has to take charge of this elevator because we're not able to handle it if we don't.
Absolutely. If we go up there and we come back down again, we're going to have to change names and move to a different country. That's it.
Although at that point, they should have done it just because it would have been really funny to be like, okay, it's only funny twice, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
The older couple would have been like, are we on a prank show right now? Do we need to sign a waiver? What's happening?
Oh, it would have been good. They should have all got their phones out and pulled and been like, ready, we're about to get this old couple so hard right now.
So I just thought that was wonderful. And another revisit to our elevator topic.
That's such a nightmare and so good. I love it.
Just the quiet ride down where you're all just like
ashamed
shit
of what you did.
We just really couldn't do it, huh?
You're thinking about what you're going to say to the old couple because they're still down there and you don't want them to be disappointed in you. It's, yeah. I can't imagine.
But luckily my sister was just in the position of y'all need to figure it out because you're in front of us. Come on, get out of our way. Y'all can stay on the elevator if you want. But yeah.
Have you ever tried to be polite and instead trapped an entire family in an elevator?
That would track for some of us. I think a few of us would do that.
Yeah.
Just
Just
accidentally.
be so anxious and trying to be polite that you're like, we just didn't do it. I didn't get off.
And then you're just
Door's closed.
ripping your hair out because you're just like, I can't be here anymore.
Yeah. In an attempt, to be kind, you just delay someone's travel. I hope they didn't miss their flight.
No kidding.
Yeah. Well, I have a quick bite. So another callback to episode 1 when I had a quick bite about whether or not I was going to pass gas in my office prior to seeing a client. The same client got a double dose of me this week. And first of all, I just wanted to say, very awkward that my office is laid out so there are 2 individual bathrooms like at the back of the office building. And I was like, if I just slip in real quick, I'm going to get in there and he's not going to see me before I go in and he comes out. But instead what happened was I tried to get in quick enough and see if he was going to see me as he was coming out, and we made eye contact hard as I was entering the other bathroom and he was exiting one. And we said nothing and I quickly closed the door. About to have to talk to this person for 1 hour. So that was awkward, but I did it.
Absolutely worst case scenario.
Yeah, so that's where it starts. And then I'm sitting on the toilet and realizing that, well, I probably knew it when I did it, but just like really talking to myself about it, that I am making a cup of decaf coffee in the lobby, as one does at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And I don't do this very often, so I don't know how to fill my own coffee pot that I've had for 1.5 years. And I was like, I think I put too much water in it, which wouldn't be that big of a deal if he wasn't about to go stand in that lobby and just watch the mess unfold of it overflowing, knowing that I'm not coming back for a while because I'm on the toilet. Anyway, so I just had to like swallow that and try not to get anxious about it. And I walked in and he was just standing there and I was like, oh, yep. And it had just like overflowed. He was like, yeah, I just like didn't know where the noise was coming from until it was already overflowing. So he just didn't do anything about it. And then we had to just awkwardly stand there together for 5 minutes while I tried to figure out how to clean it up and not spill it everywhere and dump it half into another cup. And I was like, this is what you're paying me for. This is your 5 minutes of me just cleaning up coffee that I've spilled everywhere that you just had to watch and go, can't do anything about that. And then I had to go sit and counsel him after he learned that my life is a nightmare. And I don't know if I have any business helping him at all. So this client's really getting all of me in the last few weeks.
You know, I said it was worst case scenario before the coffee thing, but somehow you did find a way to make it worse.
Yeah.
It was just like, why don't we just have this happen now?
It reminds me of when we lived together and there was that time that you were changing or something and I walked up to your door and it was a little bit cracked and I saw that you were changing and I just backed away and thinking you hadn't seen me and then later you had seen me and it was the worst case scenario where it wasn't in the moment eye contact, and I'm actually not sure when you finally admitted to me that you had seen me do that. I feel like it was years later.
It was a while later, and I feel like, just for the audience, Marissa's cleaning it up a little bit. I was standing butt naked, texting in front of my mirror, and she slinked into my room and made eye contact with me through the crack in the door, in the mirror, and then slinked away as if she had just not seen me butt ass naked texting in my bathroom. So
I thought I'd make it sound a little bit less.
No, you're getting the R version today. That's what happened.
I really was thinking like, oh, that's not so bad. You just saw her a little bit and
full nude.
Now I
Full
understand.
nude. Yeah.
That's a don't talk about it until a couple years later situation.
Yeah, and the worst part is like I'm in front of a mirror, so it's like you're not mistaken what you're seeing. It's not like you're seeing something through a little crack. No, you're seeing the mirror, which is telling you everything about everything that's available to you. So she got full frontal on that one, unfortunately.
And I thought that it was fine. I was like, that's fine. Nobody has to know about this. It didn't happen. And then everybody knew. Now everybody knows.
I think that just talks about the difference in our comfort with nudity, that you're just like, this is fine. And I'm like, repress it and don't bring it up for years to come.
That's true. I should have done like like you did with your client. You know, you go, ooh, the coffee's
That's
over.
how you know.
Yeah. We don't have to talk about it, but oop.
Oh. Well, I'm full.
Yes, I'm also full. I'm full, and
I'm full.
we can move on to our first topic of today, which is going to be presented by Marissa.
So my anxiety for this time is gyms, which I feel like there's just so many things about gyms. I don't even know where to start. It's just like they have an elevator quality where it's just like, it's so funny, you know, like you're in there and you're like, this is hilarious. What is everybody doing, taking this so seriously?
So seriously.
Everyone is so serious. It's just hilarious. And then also, I don't know how to use any of the machines.
No.
Like, and reading the directions seems like, because you know how machines have the directions on them? Mm-hmm. I am like stopping to read them is like, what am I, like the gym police making sure everybody.
You were sitting in a room for your whole life until right now, and you just got up and walked into a gym. That's what that's, you know.
But I need that because I don't know how to use any of this stuff in there.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's one of those things where everyone just expects you to know, but then everyone else is also like, I don't know, really, unless they're like the beefiest boys in there, you know.
Yeah, I'm Beefy Boyz.
And I'm using boys very neutrally, just so you know. Anybody can be a beefy boy.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Sorry.
The Beefy Boyz too in the gym give you a lot of anxiety because you're like, I'm not a beefy boy. And when you're doing the machine, after you read the instructions and make a whole fool out of yourself because you're like, let me put on my glasses and read this for 10 minutes while everyone stares at me. And then you finally do it and you're like, I'm going to put on the lightest weight I possibly can.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's heavy.
Oh, yeah. I one time went to our apartment gym in college, and we didn't know what the name of the machine was or what it was working out, but we called it the raise the roof machine because that's basically the motion you did. And I cannot understand how those muscles maybe just were never used in my entire life before that day, because I literally put it on like 5 pounds, like the lightest it could go. Like, you didn't have to put the stick in there because that's just the one it's going to do without any stick. And I was like, struggling to do like 10. It's like, how do I show my face in here again?
Especially when you sit, like you go to the machine and it's on like 90 and then you're like, okay, so like, let's try that. And you're like, oh, it doesn't move at all. And then you have to put it on 5 and you're like, that guy was doing 90, you know? And I can only do 5. What's up with me?
Or when you struggle to take the little pin out of it in the first place and you're like, I'm too weak to be here.
That's right.
Yeah. Or my move was always just to go to the one that looked like a bike, because I had to get a 1-hour credit every week in college of just gym time. This is before I figured out that I could just swipe my pass and double up on my yoga class that I was also required to take by the university and just be like, this counts. So I'd go to the one that looked like a bike, which I think I know how to ride, and I would just ride that hoe for an hour, and it was rough to just do that for an hour because I am an out-of-shape guy. I can't pick a machine and look all serious while you raise the roof. Like, I don't know how to use that machine. Are you kidding me? The treadmill is already a nightmare because it's like, how do you get the right speed? You don't want it too fast, but you don't want it too slow. You don't want to be walking in there with Beefy Boyz. Like, I could just be outside doing that. I'm not going to put it on a walk. Do I put an incline?
And the whole time you're on a treadmill, you're like, if I do the thing where you fall, it's like, I don't know if that really happens, but they do it in TV shows, and it is the funniest thing to me every time. Like, it gets me every time. So it's funny, but it gives me the most anxiety that that's going to happen to me when I'm on a treadmill and and then you die. Like, I feel like you die in real life. On a show, it's funny, but in real life, you fully break your face.
You super could die, but I don't think you would. I think that the real thing about that is that people don't use the little clippy to where it would turn off the treadmill, because you're supposed to wear that little thing so that if you do eat shit, then it's going to turn it off for you. So you don't just fall off the end and then just get cheese grated while you're laying there hurt, by the treadmill.
But then you're like admitting like, I need a life alert because I've never been to the gym and know how to use this freaking treadmill.
I refuse to wear the clippy when I do it.
You do wear it or you don't?
I refuse. I don't want to look like a nerd.
You would look like a nerd. So it's worth it to like risk whatever Katie said, grating your face across the freaking, I don't know, tarmac so that you don't look like a
road rash
idiot.
The most uncool road rash you could ever get is falling off a treadmill.
That injury is worse than Katie's wrist injury from last week.
Fair enough. You know what?
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the difference though, there's the machines, right? They're like weights machines, and then there's the Beefy Boyz section, because they are very different areas. There are like so many more mirrors over there. Every free weight is at least like 75 pounds, and everyone's just like, put your weights back, dude. Like there's so much happening there, and it's always very humid.
Yeah. I never go to that part of the gym.
Yeah, you can't, because you're not beefy enough. Must contain at least 50% beef.
How do you get there? How do you get to that point of just being like, I'm serious about the gym, guys? I want to be serious.
How do you know how to use the gym enough to be able to take it seriously? That's the part I don't understand. Like, when did you learn how to use the gym enough to have such a seriousness about it? It's all hysterical to me, because it's like everybody in here just fucking doing anything that doesn't make any sense to me. I don't understand the gym, so maybe I need to get off this topic because I don't know where you learned it. In 7th grade, Coach S said, go work out your arms, and we all said great, and stood around and talked and like moved a thing a little bit and rolled it around, and I don't understand how people actually know how to work out.
I mean, I think that's what the gym is. You go move stuff around a little bit and then you go home.
Yeah. You do the pushing,
it feels
you do the
like
pulling.
It should be more complex than that. Like the guy that has to read it, Marissa, is just like, did they sit down and read them all every day and then they became Beefy Boyz, or like what?
You read the Gym for Dummies book. No, I don't. That probably exists, but
I think you do have to read it. It's like that guy went through a phase and he read everything in the gym and then he did it, But even after I read it and know how to do it, I still am like, this feels so silly, What's the thing? Where it's like a leg thing, the leg ones where you like sit on a
where you
machine.
kick it out? Yeah.
You kick it out? That's so silly.
Yeah.
And what do you look at while you're doing that? What do you make eye contact with?
Your knees only is the option.
The farthest object from you. If there's a window, that's great, because you can look out and beyond.
But anybody could walk across and make eye contact with you while you're looking like a doof. No way.
I guess that's true.
Swinging your legs in and out like a little kid on a swing set.
Yes.
With my 5 pounds being like, I think I'm working out my thighs. I don't know.
Is it my butt? Is it my shins are getting stronger? I don't know what I'm doing.
This isn't even hard, but I don't want it to be harder. So thank you.
Yeah. Another machine that makes me feel like an idiot. It's a gym I used to go to, and it was a butt machine, just for the butt muscle. And you would stand there, and like your hips would hit this thing, and then there was like a pedal basically, and you would just like kick it back, and you had to do that, and it felt very dumb, like very obviously dumb, and you were just like, I'm kicking nothing. And just putting my butt out and making everybody know it. And so, just do squats, I guess.
Squats are bad too, though, because then you're just like, First, I'm doing this wrong for sure. I have no weights on the stick. And then you're putting your butt out. You're like sticking your butt out and being like, my butt's out and I'm farting and everyone knows.
And your form, everybody's like, oh, you're not doing the form. And it's like, yeah, the form is good for not hurting yourself and stuff. And it's helpful to know that, but you're still embarrassed to do it wrong.
Another thing about gyms is like, there's like, I don't really even get this part because I don't even try if this is happening. But if someone wants your machine and they're like, let me like rotate in, and you're like, I've just heard rumors of this. Like, I've never actually done it, but I know it's a thing that happens. It's like, that seems like a nightmare. If someone came to sit by me and was like, I'm gonna rotate in, I would be like, I'm gonna leave and kill myself. Thank you.
They're basically being like, let's just like mix our sweat together a bunch on our butts. You want to do that? And that's what happens.
Also, volunteering to just look at you while you feel like an idiot. They're like, I'm going to just watch you do this until you fuck off, please. You're like, I wish I could just evaporate into thin air right now so that this conversation never happened. It's awful. They're just staring at you. I can't.
I think you just have to lie and be like, yeah, I'm done. Right? You just at that point you have to go like, yep, I was done with it. I just sat down. You saw me sit down, but I'm done with it.
I think the other thing is when you get in there, you know, to a gym and you realize you don't know what you're doing or why you've ended up there, what the appropriate amount of time is before you can leave without feeling shame.
Yeah.
I get in there and I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing, but I just walked in and everybody knows. So I have to like pretend to do something for at least 20 minutes and then I can leave and go tear out my eyeballs. Because I feel like that's how I feel every time I walk into a gym, which is not frequently, but it's like, how do I get out of here as quick as possible without being the scrub that came and knew what they don't know openly in front of everyone?
Because that is the immediate response. Like you walk in, you're like, the panic like slowly seeps all over you, or you're like, this was just big mistake, and you just want to turn around because you're like, people are in here.
Yeah.
And you know what it makes that even worse is if you get there and you start doing stuff and you realize that some item of clothing you've chosen to wear is just not working for the particular things you're doing. And like you got to like pull your shorts down right at your crotch every 5 seconds. And you're like, I'm not trying to touch my crotch at the gym for every time I do something. But you know, you live and you learn. And sometimes those shorts just don't work.
That's so
Or you wear a gray t-shirt and you're just a gremlin of sweat. You know?
Or if you do the treadmill, then your pants are falling down the whole time.
Yes.
And there's nothing you can do about it. You just like keep pulling them up and you're like, now this is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Either too far up or too far down pants. Like, what do you want? That's all the gym can give you. There's no proper fitting pants. Also, if you lay down on a thing, you're just gonna like have to be scooting back, which I feel like is always like pulling your pants down. And you're like reach down and pull them up. You know, the bar, and you like put it over your head and that seems safe somehow, you know, and you gotta like scoot back to get underneath it and like hope that your arms work enough to where it doesn't fall directly onto your front teeth. Like that's a machine. It's not a machine. It's just like a bench. I think they call it
bench
that.
Press. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Bench press. And it's basically the workout itself, that particular movement is just try not to guillotine yourself. That's it. It's like,
yes.
Be careful. Don't chop your head off because you could.
Yes.
Make sure it's not too heavy.
Also, is like spotting someone a thing? Like, is that a thing? People actually be like, can you spot me? Because that seems like another one.
To a random person?
I'm sure that the Beefy Boys would be like, yo, you're a beefy boy. Can you spot me?
They'd be beefy together, dude. But then it's like, what if the person you're spotting is pushing like, you know, 175 or something, and you're like, I can't help you with that. If you drop that, then we're both going down, man.
You have to admit you're less beefy. You have to be like, I came to the Beefy Boy section and thought I was allowed, and I was incorrect. Sorry.
You might need to get another guy. We just both do it because I don't feel comfortable.
You should not be in this section.
You have to admit that you are beefless, and that is just sad.
An impossible patty.
Impossible
Beyond meat.
burger? Beyond gym.
I'm a black bean patty. Because it gives you gas.
Hey,
That's
yo.
stupid. Do the gyms you guys go to have like
I
a
don't
place
go to
for
the gym.
classes? Okay, well, but the gyms you've historically gone to in the past,
Okay.
do they have like a place for classes that has like mirrors and like you could do ballet in it? Or
Yes.
yoga?
It's like, and there's balls in there too. And you're like, I want
Yeah.
those balls, but you don't know how to use them. But you're like, they
Yeah.
seem fun.
And sometimes they're empty.
Yes,
just
they're
like,
always empty when
I just want to go in there and dick around and like be with my friends. And then another person shows up and you're like, ugh.
Yes, if anyone enters the room and I'm in there alone, which is already weird, I'm like, I don't think this is good for either of us. It's
Basically a big elevator at that point.
Yes.
Yes.
It's like, why would you come in here? Obviously, I'm in here alone on a yoga mat with this ball pretending to do something. I need you to go.
Yes.
I've claimed this territory already.
Yeah, I would never go in there if someone was in there. I was like, oh, you got the big room. Good for you, dude.
And then you walk directly away to your car and you drive home because you know that the gym is a madhouse of insecurity. Why would you ever go into a room that another person is in the gym where they clearly don't know what they're doing? Why would they be in there? Why would they be in there doing anything? Could they? Why would you go to a gym to do something in a room? I guess
That's true.
you didn't have a house.
Yeah, it's true. If you needed a room.
You can afford a gym membership.
I don't have all the balls, though, that
I
are in
mean-
that room. They got a lot of balls.
Are we gonna just like keep letting that go or say anything?
I was gonna say,
What?
not a lot of balls in this room right now.
Okay.
I guess that's true.
I meant it in a fun way, but
You don't have all the equipment that the gym has, but
okay,
like
equipment, sure, yeah. If you say it that way, nobody will make fun of you. We all know you're talking about the balls.
I know gym words.
I don't have any
Balls.
nuts in my house, so I can't work out.
Balls.
Also, at my gym, they have showers,
Yeah.
which is a whole nother nightmare. But I just want to specifically say that the showers at mine do not have locks on them. They are swinging doors.
Absolutely not.
What?
Yep. It's like just a door that like goes both ways, which is already like strike one. And then it doesn't lock. It's just a glass door. It's fogged. It's a fogged glass door, which
Oh my
is still
God.
wrong because you can see a
You said
silhouette.
glass, and I was like, is it in front of the gym and everyone watches you shower? Like, what's happening?
Don't go there, dude.
It's a foggy door. But still, if I went up to that and looked into it to be like, is someone in this one? Because I couldn't see the steam or hear it, and tried to go look in it, you could definitely see a
You'd
nude
just get a
person
full
in
look.
there.
And you go, oh,
Look intently, foggy eye, and go, oh.
yeah. No.
No, just no.
No.
It's just the worst. And you don't want to touch anything or like that exist when you're in there.
You gotta have the right shoes on, because if you're barefoot in there, then you are going to walk out with a disease. That's no question.
I've never gotten athlete's foot in my life, and when I was in the dorm, I will be honest, I showered barefoot. But I've heard recently, I don't remember who told me. Marissa, did you tell me this? That if you
I did.
pee on it, you won't get athlete's foot. And I'm here to tell everyone I've peed in every shower I've ever gotten in my entire life. So you should wear shoes in the shower in the hotel.
I think
Or
peeing in
the
the
gym.
shower is good. I think it's good and fine. I don't do it because I'm weird, but I would.
It's good and fine, but
I
I
would
wouldn't
do
do
it.
it.
It's good and fine, but everyone else is a freak except me. Okay. Do we want to move on to our next topic?
Yeah.
Sure.
All right. This one is from Hannah.
Okay. So, as we've already learned, if you've listened to any of the other episodes, I don't do well under pressure, like when getting my hair cut.
Cut it all
but
off.
just cut it all off, right? Whenever I'm ordering at a new restaurant, case in point, I went the other day to BJ's, I think it's called. It's like a chain, I think, that serves beer and various American
Pizza.
cuisine.
It's a beer in the pizza.
A beer and a J.
BJ.
Yeah. Just
Beer
getting
and
high on doobs. Anyway, so I'm looking at the menu and I'm like trying to figure it out. And this is like in every restaurant that's new to me, sometimes ones that I've been to before. And I just start getting really nervous because I was waited tables. I know the flow of service. Like they're coming back. I need to know what I want so that they don't hate me, obviously. And I think that I know what I want. And then they get there and I just start panicking. And I'm like, what's your favorite thing on the menu? And then they tell me, and I'm like, well, that's trash, and I won't order that. So now I've just embarrassed myself by being like, I'm going to pick what you get. And then I'm like, you have a trash palette. I'm not buying that. And then I'm like, okay, well, I'll just order this other thing that I've randomly just seen now that I don't like anything on. Bring me that, you know? And then my husband a lot of the time is with me, and he's like, you said you were going to order this different thing that I had thought about and talked about with him and planned on getting. And at BJ's, I was like, who would pay $17 for a salad? The waitress comes. I'm like, well, I can't have dairy, so what do you like? And she's like, oh, I like this, whatever, pasta. And I'm like, no, I'm going to get this salad and don't put any cheese on it. And then she's like, oh, well, like, we can't make that salad tonight. And so I ended up ordering a burger. And I was like, don't put any cheese on it. And then she was like, okay, and had to clarify like 4 times, and then didn't put any mayonnaise on it because she said the mayonnaise had dairy in it, which I don't even understand. But I don't know, I panicked and it was bad, and I ate it and I hated it. I hated every part of it. So that's my story. I can't order at restaurants. It gives me a lot of, I'm having anxiety talking about it right now. I'm not even there and I'm freaking out about it. So that's where we're at.
I personally have avoided that for a while now, having cut a major portion of a menu out of my diet. You know, because like, how many vegetarian options are there at most places? There's like 2 or 3, and you could maybe make those. So for me, that's not as much of a problem now. But like, if I ever go to like a vegan or a vegetarian restaurant, I'm just like, I can't do this. There's too much pressure. I can't decide a whole menu of stuff. How do anybody do this? Like, I just lose it. It's really difficult. So I respect and understand that, but it's been like 15 years since I've had to deal with that. So, you know, I just have to look it up beforehand because I need to know if I'm eating a plate of sides or if I'm actually going to order something.
Ooh, that's a good call. Look it up beforehand. I feel like I go in and I'm like, I'm going to want to do something weird, and I don't have the confidence to ask for it. So I'm just going to bastardize everything else instead. And I could have just asked for the more regular weird thing I wanted. Like, just make this pizza with no cheese on it. And that's weird, but it's less weird than like, yeah, so go ahead and add vegan cheese and just don't put a crust on it, and like, just whatever you want, you know, anything's fine except I can't eat anything. Is that good? You know? And they're like, settle down, guy. I don't know what you want from me, but I guess I'll do it.
Yeah, I feel that. I feel like I definitely look stuff up beforehand. But my thing is usually I can narrow it down to a couple things, but then once I've gotten to that bracket, then I'm like, I do not know, and I'll never know. And if I do pick one, I'll regret it for the rest of my life that I didn't pick the other thing.
It's Schrodinger's meal, you know?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, which one am I going to pick? I don't know until I picked it. And it could have been anything.
And even if it's good, you're like, but I'll never know what the other one was like.
Yeah, because you can't eat at a restaurant twice.
You can't go back.
Never.
You eat there once and you're banned for life.
Well, okay, but then there's the thing of when you go there the second time, you're like, well, I got this last time and it was good, but I still do want to try this other thing, but I will never try it because I know the other thing is good.
Yes. That's right. because it's a risk to now branch out and get that thing you originally wanted to try. If I go back to BJ's, I'll probably get the mushroom Swiss burger with no Swiss cheese, even though I didn't like it, because at least I've got an answer when they come to ask me what I want.
Now I didn't even think about that, like, anxiety of ordering the first time, that it's like, this will be what I order forever now.
Forever here.
There's a whole nother, like, weight to it.
Yeah, it is. It's eternally decided now that this is your order at that restaurant.
So if you weren't anxious enough already, there's a little bit more anxiety for you to have when you're ordering.
Yeah, it sets the
It's
tone.
permanent.
Yeah.
I mean, should we even talk about Cheesecake Factory?
No.
Because
Oh my God, that menu. Why?
is a dissertation. I don't understand how they have that much food in the back. Like, what are they talking about? You know? Like Skinnylicious? What does that mean? Is that them? I don't know if that's them. They have like a whole section that's different.
I honestly don't know. I've been there once, and then we joke about whether or not we should go back there because of how intimidating the menu is, and then don't.
You've only been there
because,
once?
Yeah. Well,
In your life?
Maybe twice, like to eat food. Like I've gone and picked up a cheesecake before, but I've never like sat down and I've only sat down and had a meal there twice in my life.
Are you saying you've picked up a whole cheesecake? Or like pieces of a cheesecake?
We did that for a girl
Pieces?
in high school. We went and got her a cheesecake, didn't we, from there?
No, we went and got my economics teacher a cheesecake so that I could pass economics.
Nice.
That's what we did.
Nice, dude.
Garland.
Good enough to bribe.
We ended up fine.
Yeah,
We
everybody's
ended
okay.
up okay. Yeah, I don't have an economics degree. Never taken another economics class in my life. You know why? Economy doesn't matter.
Economy equals cheesecake.
Don't worry about it. Yeah, all you need to know is cheesecake makes the world go round.
That's true. But
I think that is true.
I was shocked because I have never heard of someone buying an entire Cheesecake Factory cheesecake. Like, I know that exists, but like the pieces themselves are like 5 pounds each, you know? So
Yeah, it's like $12 a slice too. Like, can you imagine what the whole cheesecake costs? No, we got a singular piece because I was an 18-year-old doofus trying to pass economics. So of course I didn't buy an entire cheesecake.
okay.
took out your
I
quarters.
don't understand how money works.
It's like $4,000, I guess.
I can't do economics. What? No.
Can I make a down payment on this cheesecake right now? Like, what's the payment plan?
Put it on layaway. I'll be back next
What's
week.
my interest rate?
Should we do the next subject then?
Sure. This one has been posed by me. I don't know why I'm talking like that. Okay. Shoe shopping. It's a little bit of like an antiquated thing. I'm not sure how many people go out and shop for shoes like that anymore. But back in the good old days where we had to walk uphill both ways to class in the snow, we had to go physically into a store and shop for shoes. And like, there's so many factors about it that is just ridiculous. The first thing I want to talk about though is the little sockies. You're like, I'm gonna try on this shoe, but I don't want to get all those foot diseases like at the gym in the shower. So I got these foot sockies, these little sockies that are the dumbest little shits, and you put them on your foot, and it's just harder to do everything, and then you're like, this is halfway off of my foot by the time I'm putting my foot in the shoe anyway, so I might as well just be raw dogging it at this point. Like,
Yes.
like what is any of it?
Can you describe what the little sake is for people who maybe don't know?
Okay, so if people aren't familiar with the little sockies at the foot clothes store, shoe store, it's like a little tiny piece of like a pantyhose, but it's only up to your ankle or maybe less depending on the size of your foot, and it's the loosest goose. And so
And it's the size of a tiny little raisin when you pick it up.
yeah, it's just like a little dinky
And it comes
thing.
out of a tissue box, just so you know. You're just pulling those out like tissues.
Or like gloves, like at the doctor, you know, that's the same kind of vibe. But like you got to put these tiny little thin things, which who knows? They're so thin. Are they even protecting anyone from anything? Is it
I
just
just
like
pee on my foot before I put it on every shoe.
that's how you protect yourself? So it's there to soak up the urine. No, but they're so thin, and then you just, yeah, you have to try on your shoes with that if you want to be cool, because it's courteous, but then it just feels like an exercise in nothing. So, you know?
Yeah, I feel like I rarely used the little sockies when I would go. I was raw dogging them, so that was me getting athlete's foot. But I pee in the shower, so I don't get it. And I don't know if that's a fact, but we have said that it is now, and I believe it. So
we're gonna get everybody out there peeing on their feet, dude.
Just do it and keep passing it on, even if it isn't true.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think I use those little things because they disgust me at like a core level, because it's like you're just like, the only word I can think of is like in Spanish, like you're molesting your foot, you're bothering your foot, it's just tickling it. I can't. It's like the nails on the chalkboard.
Oh my
they
God.
just make your foot so bothered.
You're
and
physically
I have to rub
reacting
my
so
face
much.
now. I can't handle them. I hate them so much. So yes, I am also raw dogging every single shoe in a Payless, just because why not? Just save myself the horror of putting that thing on my foot and just feel the inside of every shoe, no matter what it is.
It's like you're
A
kissing
ballet
feet
shoe.
with people.
Yeah. What? You know.
That's not a thing.
Also, or just like I would wear my own socks. I'd be like, if I was going to a foot clothing store, I would be like, I know I'm doing this, so I'll wear a sock.
But some shoes you can't wear a sock with if you're gonna wear them later.
Right. Yeah, that's
like a sensible heel.
true.
Yeah. It's just that it yeah. So you have to get the right fit. And then that's the other thing too, is you're trying on these shoes and then you gotta rock the runway. I meant to say walk. But like, you know, you're walking up and down the aisle, like, what are you trying to prove? I don't know. You can't tell if that shoe's gonna really be comfortable later. You can tell if it fits. But like,
Yeah, but
know.
you can look at yourself in that little slanty mirror that makes no sense, that's so small, and you're like,
yeah.
this tells me something, I guess.
And you're like, how does science do this? Or is that just me? I'm confused by mirrors sometimes.
You just sit down and study it while everybody else is like, I hate this, it doesn't work.
Yep.
What's the science in the mirror? Can somebody explain to me that?
How magnets, how do they work? No.
How do they work, though?
I don't know, man. Touched by God.
We're not here to learn anything, but just like, you got me.
I don't know the answer to that one for sure.
Magnets only work because of the moon.
Or the tide.
The poles.
The tide works because the poles.
No, the tide
the
works
moon.
I'm
because
just
the
kidding. I'm
moon.
opposite. Yeah, I'm trying to.
The poles make magnets and Santa, and that's all I know.
Santa. Yeah, Santa's magnets.
Ooh, Santa is magnets.
Santa is magnets, dude. There's one thing I know in life, it's Santa is magnets. Yes. So you put the shoes on.
Rocking the runway.
You're rocking the runway. You're feeling good. And you're like, if you're alone, this is the hardest thing to do in the world. But if you're with someone else, then you're like, how do they look? You know, what's going on? And then you have to just like pack all that shit back in the shoe if you don't like it. You know?
Yeah.
Because there's so
All
much
the
stuff
garbage.
in it. And you got to put the garbage back in the shoe. But it's never right. It's like trying to pack a tent back into like where it goes, you know? And that's impossible. And if it's the wrong size,
You just
gotta,
jam it all back in that box, and you're like, You put the lid
Yeah.
on and shove it in that crack, and you're like,
someone
yeah,
else will
it's not
know.
this shoe for me.
Others will find out. Someone's been in this shoe.
I feel like it's worse when you're with somebody because you can just, hobble around like and only put one on when it's just you. I just want to like walk around like my legs are two different lengths in this store up to the slanty little mirror and be like, is it this? I don't know. I don't want to put both on and then give up. But I also feel like the worst thing about now online shoe shopping is there's so many shoes that I like online, and I have a foot that is as wide as it is long. I will go to the bank on that one. It's just a square foot. And I cannot find shoes that fit.
No.
And yeah, it's kind of ridiculous.
I don't recall
I
seeing.
don't think it's that.
You don't got little penguin feet.
They're flappers. They're wide, but they ain't as wide as they are long.
They ain't as wide as they is long.
How do they be like that? That's not true.
I don't know, but like literally I can wear like a little girl's size 5 sneaker and also in a women's wear an 8 because they're just so wide that I can get, if you can get me a wide shoe, I can get a small size on my foot. It's like real weird. So it's hard for me to buy shoes because
You got like gooey feet. I don't get it.
like I don't know how wide
Liquid
they're going to
feet.
be, and that's going to determine the length. It really does.
A size 5 child shoe.
Yes.
I don't know.
And an 8. No, sometimes it's real. If the shoe's real skinny, what it does is it like
If the
will
shoe
take
fits.
some from the end and it'll start widening it out and it'll like shorten the shoe down. It's like real
You're gonna
weird.
have to show me the Carfax on that one.
Got like an animorph.
I'll show it to you one time. If you want to see me try on shoes, email
Okay.
us at 3
so far-
at gmail.com.
Our first live podcast is Hannah farting and then Hannah trying on shoes with her magical liquid feet.
People are coming to see that.
Oh, but I just realized I'm advertising something I didn't mean to be advertising. This is
Wiki
just for
feet.
people interested. Just interested in seeing that my feet are really wide and nothing weird.
Yeah, there's people interested. And it is
I
weird.
mean to call you weird if you are interested. Oh my
I think they know they're weird. I'm not shaming anyone, but they're weird. We're all weird, you know?
Everybody is weird.
Yeah, we don't have to linger on that if we don't want to.
Let's all get into why we're weird. I'm just kidding. I'd like to not.
Well, when I was born. No, we're not fixing anything.
What else about shoe shopping?
The clearance section and how sometimes that can be absolutely like you don't know what you're walking into, you know? That could be the battlefield of the century. And you'd never
Yeah.
know until you really get in it.
I feel like the way I'm thinking of some, I don't know, they organize it by size. And I think I am the average size of women. 8.
Yeah.
Shoe 8.
Shoe 8. I ate shoe.
Shoe 8 is the average. And so all that's left is like an ugly left foot of a Tiva that you wish you could get, but the right one doesn't exist. And then like a big boot, you know?
Yeah.
And then
It's
like
like-
30 of a thing that no one ever wanted. It's the same shoe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wish I had a size 5, true size 5 or size 11 because those people get all the best shoes at a discount.
Try it. You
do.
could fit. You,
You
don't
do
know.
have a slippery foot, so you can just fit whatever.
I do have a slippery foot. It is slippery.
Sisterhood of the traveling foot, dude. Oh man. When's the last time y'all used that foot measuring metal thingy? You know what I'm talking about? That's the most fun and ridiculous, right? Let me measure my foot. I've never worn a shoe a day in my life. What size
they're
do
always
I
like-
need?
Old and need WD-40 and you will bash your toe as you're screaming it down towards your foot. Just like, no. And it's going to like catch its stride and just slam into your foot because that's where it's oiled. I hate that.
And the difference between a half size and a non half size is like, is my toe supposed to touch it? Is my toe supposed to be comfortably like it's in a shoe? Is it? I don't know.
And then you actually put a shoe on and all of it goes to hell because
Yeah, because then every
people just
brand-
make up sizes.
Yeah,
No shoe factory owns that device or cares about it. It's just
they just have
just
some
the
guy.
shoe store.
They make a shoe. They show it to some guy, and he says, "Yeah, it's a 10." And then they put it in a box, and that's a 6.5. And they just keep it going. He just decides on the fly.
That's a fun job for that guy.
I would love to do that. Just the keeper of the shoes, the cobbler,
Drunk shoe sizer.
drink shoe sizer.
Drink shoes.
And drink shoes.
Well, I hope that was good for you, listeners.
Yeah.
If you have anything you're anxious about that you'd like to hear us discuss at length, please email us at 3anxiousladies@gmail.com.
And we appreciate so much everybody who has listened so much so far.
So much.
We're able to be here because of viewers like you. Thank you.
I really do appreciate it. And you can find us also at any of the social medias at 3anxiousladies. And if you have anything to say to us, you can tag or hashtag 3anxiousladies. Nobody else is doing that, believe it or not.
Not one.
So,
Yeah.
thank you again.
Feel free
We love
to
you.
rate, review, subscribe.
Talk to you soon.
Spotify.
Love you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.